Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boylesports, Gowran Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hart the Herald here on Perry Pass has absolutely bolted up under Paul Townend. On Perry Pass won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish point for Marie National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish point, Marie National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to you all to Season 6, Episode 2 of Champ.ie. Well, it's been one busy week for the Champ.ie boys. We've been from Sligo to Dunboyne. We've been all over the country. We'll tell you more about that in a couple of moments. Let's firstly have a look at what's coming up on the show this week, because we've got a really busy week ahead for you. We've got Brian O'Keefe from Boylesports joining us, and don't forget as well, we want you to give us your selections for the 5cast races and a big competition as well to tell you about. Barry will tell you more on that. We've an interview with Olly Murphy coming up on the show as well, and also Stephen Thorne, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, will be joining us in the show. The races we're going to concentrate on over in the course of the next 45 minutes. It's a busy weekend, of course, at Aintree, and we're going to look ahead to the Pertemps qualifier at Aintree on Saturday. Also, the Boylesports Choose Wisely Handicap Chase, the Boylesports Grand Sefton, and also two races at Wincanton, the 223, the Rising Stars Novice Chase Grade 2, and the Badger Beers Handicap Chase at Wincanton. Well, Brian O'Keefe, we'll get to Brian in a moment, but Barry, it's been an eventful week, hasn't it? We've been busy, and listeners and viewers may see we're well togged out here this week on Champ.ie.
We certainly are. EJ Menswear, David. Look, we got a fine bag of equipment here for the season ahead. Plenty of sing-songs on the road up to Sligo. EJ and the lads, of course, Tom looked after us very, very nicely. And we'll be hearing from Stephen Thorne on the show, as you mentioned. A stable tour to come next week. Davy Boland of Racing's Inside Track TV kindly helped us out with the video. And we're kitted out in the EJ Menswear gear for the show, David. And Gowran Park is on Saturday as well, should I say, as the Boylesports Grand Sefton. Brian, must be exciting. You're heading to Aintree on Saturday.
Funnily enough, Barry, I didn't make the flight. No, I'm actually staying in Ireland. My beloved Drogheda United are in the FAI Cup final on Sunday. So I'm going to make a weekend out of it. But there's a few, the Boylesports battalion heading over. We've got a fantastic field, a really competitive race, and we couldn't have asked for much more. So let's hope it all goes to plan.
Come on, the town. Never mind that Drogheda stuff. David.
Yes. Easy now, lads. It's very easy, very early on the show. Well, I suppose, look, we'll kick it all off because we're here to find winners for our listeners, and we're going to try and do that with the races we're going to look at. Let's firstly look at the 130 at Aintree. It is the Pertemps qualifier handicap hurdle. And Brian, as you are our special guest this week, we're going to firstly give you the floor on your thoughts on the 130 at Aintree on Saturday.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, David. I suppose people or connections are probably a bit keener to win a Pertemps qualifier this year than they have been in the past. But I mean, we've had two. We've had one today, Thursday, and we're going to have another on Saturday. So I'm not sure why they put them so close together. We only had 4 runners in the one at Newbury, but a few more standing their ground on Saturday at Aintree. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but the one I like is the Charles Byrnes horse. I thought he's a real eye catcher, this Reverend Hubert. Reverting back to hurdles after a few fairly hot beginners and novice chase runs, and I thought he did very, very well in that sphere. Ran a cracker as well behind Alphonse Legrand / Manxman in that controversial Cesarewitch as well. And I think he's probably the classiest horse in the field for me here. Who knows, maybe Charles is going to be content with that one bouncing around and finishing 4th. But he has been nibbled at in the Boylesports market. He's 6s into 5s so far, so that's given me a little bit of confidence. But it's easy to see why the Twiston Davis horse is at the top of the market. You can't whack Nigel early on in the season.
Certainly can't. He's a man in some form. Barry Doyle is the Twiston Davis yard, and this, I believe, is the one you quite like in the race.
Yeah, look, David, he's one I certainly wouldn't want to be taken on anyway at the top of the market. Nice low weight. He's only had 8 starts in his career and on the hat-trick bid. Look, I suppose both wins have been left-handed for Guard the Moon. He's only 6 years of age. I know there's been plenty of money for him, 7-2. Look, I know it's, look, we have the 3 places still. It'll be interesting to see if the race cuts up a little bit. He's nicely weighted. Sam Twist and Davis on board. Very much an informed stable. And when he sends a couple up to Aintree, I think you have to respect them. So, yeah, I wouldn't like to be taking him on. And for that reason, look, there's probably still juice in the price, David, at 7-2. So with Guard the Moon for the Twist and Davis team in that 130 at Aintree.
Yeah, it's a fascinating race. And as Brian has mentioned, you'll be watching the Charles Byrnes move in the market as well to see how strong that one is.
Stable out of form though a little bit, Dave, isn't it? You have to maybe be a little bit concerned with I suppose the overall form of that particular stable. But anyway, we'll move on.
I think with Charles Byrnes, Barry, there's never such thing as a stable out of form. There might be, you never know when the Byrnes runners suddenly jump into full life. And I think we'll be watching out to see they might bounce back at the weekend. Right, let's move on because we're going to look at the 205 at Aintree this time. And this is another really interesting race. Barry, I'm going to come to you firstly this time on your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, well, he wasn't doing a tap, I thought, in front last time, David. Imperial Saint. I know it's the favourite. I know it's 9-4. I could see this going off a lot shorter. Mentioned stable form with Philip Hobbs at the moment. I think he's operating at over a 30% strike rate. He's a forward going type over the 2 miles, but does have, I think, crucially, jumping form in point to point. So he will stay. He only got £4 as well for winning over the course and distance. He is the only course winner in the field. And coming down to the last at Aintree last time, the 2 ears were pricked. I think there's more to come from this Imperial Saint. So, I'd be one of my better bets of the weekend, David, at 9-4. There's juice in that.
Brian, what do you think of it? And maybe you'll take us through the betting with Boylesports for this one.
Yeah, the money's come for Barry's selection. The traders must have heard him. Imperial Saint into 15-8 now, David. The other mover is Venetia Williams' horse, Hunter Legend. That's the one I like. That one's 7-2 from 4-1. Coast Guard Station going the other way, 4-1 from 7-2. Then we got the Irish Raider for the Christies in there at 7-1. That's Jack Holliday. And it's double figures the rest. As I said, the one I like is the Venetia horse. I do like to be on Venetia's early on in the season. Her yard's going really well. Just like the Hobbs yard, Venetia's operating at around a 25% strike rate. And I just think this Hunter's Legend, a really, really consistent animal. Normally, that's not what you want in a handicapper when they're racking up the seconds, but I think he's still improving. On the hat-trick bid, that's the one I want to be on side. I do respect Barry's Imperial Saint very, very much. That one foiled the JP McManus, John Joe O'Neill gamble last time out over course and distance, Petit Tonnier. So I do respect that one. And I'd like to see Jack Holliday run well for the Christies as well, the front runner, but I think he's a bit exposed now as a 10-year-old, and it's going to be hard for that one to justify a career high mark.
Yes, and I think what's very interesting as well on this one, Brian, I'm very much in the side of you in this one with Hunter's Legend for Venetia Williams, but I suppose race fitness could come into play. Hasn't run since Cheltenham in March last year. Barry's selection, Imperial Saint, who was last seen on the 27th of October when winning, and that probably could just be the difference, but it really is an intriguing race. We're going to be looking ahead to the Grand Sefton after our first ad break. We'll be looking as well to the Rising Stars Novice Chase, the Grade 2, and then it is the Badger Beers Handicap Chase at Wincanton. But now we head into our first ad break.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and won.
Coming through in the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by like the Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dream Today, and Harry's Bar makes it 6-course win.
Check out ShamrockThoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities.
Yes, welcome back to the show, and a big thank you, of course, to Gowran Park, Boylesports, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds being involved with Champ.ie this year. Before we look ahead to the next 3 races, Barry, let's tell our listeners all about the great competition that we have.
Well, let's let EJ do that for us.
How are things? EJ here. We got an unbelievable competition tonight, okay? EJ Menswear and EJMenswear.com are teaming up with Champ.ie, Ireland's premier racing podcast. Any racing fans that likes to have a little bet every now and again or follow the horses, Champ.ie are helping us to launch our fantastic tailor bundle that's back on track again. Everything for $2.99 blazer, shirt, chinos, shoes, socks, the whole lot. In fact, we have the two boys here themselves, Barry and David. Look at these two boys from Champ.ie, looking good in their tailored bundle from EJ Menswear. They came all the way from Tipperary to get togged out for our tailored bundle. Good news travels fast, okay? So EJ Menswear, ejmenswear.com, check it out. All about your tailored bundle. You got your blazer, you got your shirt, you got your chinos, you got your shoes. The boys are going happy, fully togged out, home happy. So our competition tonight, okay, we're going to give away 2 VIP tickets to a major horse racing event over Christmas, compliments of Champ.ie, and a tailor bundle for some lucky winner. I'm just going to ask you a simple question. Derek Fox has won the Grand National how many times? Once, twice, or 3 times? How many times has Derek Fox, a local legend of a jockey, won? And someone's going to win a fantastic tailor bundle of their choice. Check it out, all there, and more lines being added over the next few days. Your blazer, your shirt, your chinos, your shoes, and someone's going to win full outfit of their choice and a trip to one of the premier racing events over the Christmas. Don't forget, check out champ.ie, check it out on YouTube, and get all you want to know about horse racing. The boys will look after you.
Yeah, well, David Thomas promised us a couple of points the next time we head down to Sligo, but we've a couple of weeks until we do so. We'll be announcing a winner, and all people have to do down below, of course, is let us know the answer to the questions to be in with a chance of winning that great prize. Will it be Leopardstown? Will it be Limerick? You'll have to wait and see. VIP tickets and a tailor bundle, $299. It's good value, Dave, for anyone heading to the races. But we'll kick on with the preview.
Yes, we will. And a big thank you to EJ as well. I was down there last Saturday getting fitting out for some wedding suits for my brother's wedding, and we were looked after exceptionally well. A big thank you to all the team down there. But we are here to find winners. We're moving on because we're looking ahead to our third race this weekend, which, of course, is the Boylesports Grand Sefton Handicap Chase. Brian, we've got a good entry, haven't we? And we've got a really good race in store.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. We've 13 due to go to post. I mean, it's really, really competitive. We're 6-1 the field here at Boylesports. Late Night Pass and Frero Bamboo sharing favoritism. And it's a tricky puzzle to solve. We are going to go an extra place, though. We will go 4 places each way. So if you do fancy a stab at one out of price, and they're nearly all a price, it's definitely worth taking advantage of. For me, my eye was immediately drawn to Percussion. We've seen Percussion now 4 times over the national fences. He's a bit of a Boylesports sponsored race veteran, twice in the Beecher and twice in this race, the Sefton. He finished 3rd in 2022. He finished 2nd last year. I think the stars are aligning for a big run for this horse. There's plenty of horses I don't like in it. Frero Bamboo, I wouldn't trust him. I don't think he's very, very much in and out. There's another few that I'm just struggling to see them get involved. I wouldn't mind seeing King Turgeon run well for the David Pipe team. I think that one's kind of well in under his penalty for his wide margin Chepstow win last time out. We mentioned horses coming here that have had a run. They've had the benefit of a run, so they're race fit. And just to quickly mention 2 outsiders that caught my eye. Harper's Brook, that one is switched to the Dan Skelton yard. I think that's a horse with bundles of talent. He's quite quirky, though, but I think if there's a man that can iron out those quirks, it is Dan Skelton. And I think if you're seeing Grand National fences in front of you, I think you might be on your A game. So he's certainly one to watch out for. And the other one, Authorised Art, I could see running well as well. His second run for Gary Moore. He had a good spin over hurdles last time out over a trip that was far too short for him, and that would put him spot on for this. But from a win point of view, Percussion each way, maybe Authorised Art off top weight.
Well, Barry, we've got a very special guest in Olly Murphy joining us very soon on the show. And I know you quite like the look of his Sure Touch this week.
Yeah, I do. Like, I spoke to Ollie early on in the week, just obviously setting up a time for the call, etc. He was at Newbury today, and he wasn't quite sure, obviously, with the ground ahead of the weekend in terms of how many he actually would have up at Aintree. I was keen to talk to him because obviously he's second at the moment in the UK Trainers Championship. There's good prize money on offer. Obviously, it's a sponsored race from Boylesports this weekend, the feature race, and obviously all the more prize money, the better for Ollie at the moment, trying to reel Dan Skelton or perhaps Willie Mullins in, but by the time the end of the season comes around. But look, I suppose Sure Touch was the one horse that he was pretty certain he was going to run at the weekend. So maybe that's a sign in itself. And that was early on in the week. Look, 4 from 6 over fences. He's quite a sound jumper. He's been campaigned, I suppose, in small fields, nice and gently by Ollie. I mean, he's a lightly raced 8-year-old. Was of course owned by the Whaley Cones and now obviously he's owned by gg's.co.uk and partnership there. But look, Ollie's on 38 winners for the season. Obviously with Sean Bowen on board, it's a big plus. He jumps well for these type of fences. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. So on the nice ground in which he's proven, I think, he's he has to be respected. And I think there's still juice in his price at 11-2. So yeah, I'm going to side with our special guest on this show's runner, and that's Sure Touch each way for a big run. He's a trainer very much to stay, I suppose, to keep on side this season.
Yes, and I think King Turgeon could be very interesting for David Pipe in the race. Jack Tudor, it absolutely sluiced up last time by 10 lengths, £7 penalty for that. But, well, David Pipe, of course, his father, Martin Pipe, was well able to prepare runners for these big handicaps in the past, and David Pipe is certainly well able to do so as well. I think that's got a big each-way chance in around 7-1 with Boylesports. Right, let's move on, because we move on to our next race that we're going to look forward to. And, of course, we are this time off to Wincanton on Saturday for the 223 contest. Got a really good card to look forward to at Wincanton this Saturday. And that 223 contest, of course, race 4 on the card. It is a grade 2 novices chase, 2.5 miles, Barry. And mightn't be the biggest field in the world, but we both, well, before we came on air, of course, we were both very sweet on the chance of the Ben Pauling runner, Ben Jones, on board. Handstands.
Yeah, you're kind of giving it away, Dave. We're both very much in the handstands camp. I thought it was very, very interesting. Look, in the stable tours, there's been plenty of them, and we'd Ben Pauling on the show last year. He absolutely loves this horse. He's the apple of his eye. I think what he done in such a short space of time last season was really telling. Obviously, he won his point-to-point for the 30s in October. We saw him in, I think it was December, but how he progressed, winning 3 on the bounce, including a listed contest to Sydney Banks at Huntington before rocking up. Now, he was trounced in the Ballymore. I think it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Irish, but he was the best of the British handstands. He'd had quite I suppose, a busy season up to that point. Obviously, it's quite a quick turnaround, winning a point-to-point in October and ending up in a Ballymore in March. I think it's also quite telling that he rocks up, first start over fences in a grade 2. That'll tell you what Ben Pauling thinks of the horse. I think at 2-1, that's going to shorten. And I suppose the one takeaway from the stable tours for me is he's grown significantly. He's turned into a man. And if he has, this lot to me look very beatable, Dave. 2-1, it's a cracking price.
I think so too. Brian, obviously we've said 2-1 top of the market. Have we seen, or Boylesports seen, any significant support for anything else ahead of this one on Saturday?
It's been quiet so far, David. The outsider field's been nibbled at a little glean, but you kind of expect that with the owners group. But otherwise, it's been quite quiet. As he said, handstands top of the market, 2-1. Insurrection for the Nichols team, 11-4. 7-2 Soul Icon for Kieran Burke. And we've got Boom Bawn in there for the Skeltons as well at 4-1. But they say great minds think alike, or fools seldom differ, because we've got the hat-trick up, lads. Handstands is one I quite like as well.
This shall not be beaten. Go on.
Easy now.
Yeah, I quite like handstands, I have to say. I think, there's 4 other good horses in the field. I think he's the one with the potential to be very good. And echo everything Barry said. I think he has a big chance, even in a race of this nature, first time out over fences.
Yeah, well, let's see come 223 on Saturday how right or how wrong we will be. Right, we are going to look ahead to the final race of the 5 this on the show this evening or this morning or whatever time of the day you're watching the Champ.ie podcast. And it is the 3 mile, 1 furlong. It is the Badger Bear Handicap Chase. It's a premier handicap. And this is quite a good betting heat, Brian O'Keefe from Boylesports. You're going to take us through the market.
Yeah, plenty in it. We're gone 11-4 the field. The Changing Man's our market leader. Brendan Powell on board for Joe Tizard. Lord Accord, second favourite at 7-2. That one going for the hat-trick for Neil Mulholland. Mofasa, 9-2 for Harry Cobden, Paul Nichols. Then we got Lord Baddesley for Anthony Honeyball, whose yard are going really well at the moment. Rex Dingle aboard that one. Remastered will have plenty of supporters for the David Pipe team. Tom Bellamy takes the ride on that one at 9-1. Alongside another Honeyball runner. That's Forward Plan, another 9-1 shot. Then it's 11-1 bar. So really competitive heat. One to look forward to, I think.
It is going to be a one to look forward to. Barry, you've given this one plenty of looking over. What's the Barry Doyle selection in this one?
we did a bit of a late switcheroo, didn't we? Because this was a kind of a race that we weren't going to look at. And then we remembered that it was on, and it's such a great race every single year. Paul Nichols is a super record in it. Mufasa to pick a Harry Cobden. I thought the ones towards the top of the market, you could take on a couple of them, Dave. And Lord Baddesley is a horse. I thought there's a big handicap in this horse over fences. I've thought that for quite some time. I was really impressed with his run, where he finished 2nd of 8. At Newbury on good to soft ground back on the 2nd of December. He went straight into the tracker for me on that occasion. He was racing off 129. He's off the exact same mark here, and he's having his first run for the Anthony Honeyball stable. So, I mean, look, he's 9 years of age, but he's only had the 10 starts over fences. Look, there could be still mileage in I suppose, looking at his mark 129. Certainly, I think he could be well handicapped, and he's in off a nice race weight here of 10 stone 3 with Rex Dingle on board. He's 8s from 9s, so there's been nibbles for him. And for me, look, I just think I've thought for quite some time, as I said, that there's a nice handicap in this horse on nicer ground over 3 miles. Lord Baddesley on his first start for the new stable, and he has gone well fresh in the past, Dave.
Yeah, and I think Lord Accord for the Neil Mulholland team, Richie McLaren on board, can bring up the hat-trick in this one. Thought the win at Wincanton last time was effortless, and has been rated 128, has won off 136, 131 and 130 in the past. So Lord Accord for me. Right, we're going to head into the next break, and right after this, we're going to hear from our very special guest this week, Olly Murphy.
Gowran Park Racecourse, the premier racetrack in the southeast of Ireland, is located on the outskirts of Kilkenny City. Gowran Park is your number one choice for corporate days out, stag and hen party events, and an overall great local racing experience. Known as the race that stops the county, the famous Goffs Thyestes Chase 2025 takes place on Thursday the 23rd of January. With packed crowds expected once again this January, you can book your early bird tickets online today. Visit GowranPark.ie online, click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description, or scan the QR code on screen to purchase right now. Eddie and the team look forward to welcoming you to Gowran Park this winter.
150 yards to go, Glengooley, and ain't that a shame from Angel's Dawn? Ain't that a shame is going on to win the Goffs Thyestes, pulling out every stop from Glengooley.
Yes, I'd like to be joined once again on the Champ.ie podcast by Olly Murphy, of course. Live from Newbury, Olly. It's you have a runner, of course, in the bumper, but we're going to skip on to the weekend, of course. At the moment, you're second in the UK Trainers' Championship. 38 winners for the season. Things couldn't be much better for you.
Yeah, things have started well, thank God. Obviously won a couple of big handicaps during the summer, and the novices have started well in the autumn. Same as you in Ireland, we're very dry at the moment, so desperate for a bit of rain. But yeah, they've started well. Long may it continue.
Absolutely. Sure Touch, of course, is declared for the Boylesports Grand Sefton, the feature race at Aintree at the weekend. Look, 4 from 6 over fences. How is he heading into the weekend?
Yeah, he's good. Schooled well. Has jumped a national style fence as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to running him. He looks on an upward curve still, and hopefully his progression hasn't stopped just yet. And yeah, he's a horse I think will take to the fences and the jumping test round there. And ever since he won the summer plate, now this has been his target.
Yeah, and I suppose your horses typically, you have a very good strike rate up at Aintree, so I'm sure you're looking forward to the weekend. He's up £6 though since his market raising run. You think there's more to come?
Yeah, I do. He's still relatively unexposed over fences, and round there. Touchwood, I think his forte is jumping. So if he gets into a rhythm now, I don't see any reason why he hasn't got a right good each way chance.
Absolutely. Other entries, I suppose, Olly, over the weekend. I know you have a couple of others entered at Wincanton, Kelso, and of course at Aintree. Anything else over the weekend entered up that's, I suppose, you're looking forward to?
Yeah, Deployed to Spy runs in a handicap at Aintree. Another horse looks unexposed, having his first run in the handicap. Will definitely want further than 2 miles in time, but he's won 2 novice hurdles over the minimum, and I'll be hoping he'd run very well. I run a nice bumper horse up in Kelso, so he's going to take the long journey up there as well on Saturday. I'll be fingers crossed for a good run, and I run Space Voyage in a good mare's handicap hurdle at Wincanton. She blows a bit hot and cold, but probably isn't badly handicapped if she wakes up on a good day.
Absolutely. Just a couple of other ones, Ollie. Obviously not going to keep you too long here. I know you're at the races at Newbury, but Barlavento, he bolted up at Carlisle. How's he been since, and where are we likely to see him next?
Yeah, he's good. Nice horse, nice big staying horse for the future. A horse who definitely wants soft ground, so the heavens are going to have to open here now before we see him again. So got no immediate plans, but I was pleased with what he showed me first time. Lovely big staying horse, and said he's going to make a lovely kind of staying handicap chaser in time. So not sure where he goes, but as soon as the heavens open, he'll be seen again.
And Booster Bob, speaking of the heavens open, he's some good form on soft ground. He ran up a sequence last year. How's he?
Yeah, he's good. Started his life off with fences very well. May have an entry at the Paddy Power meeting now next weekend. Again, could just do with a little bit of rain. He's a horse I'm very keen to step up into graded company sooner rather than later, but off a mark of kind of late 120s, I'm quite tempted to use his mark at the moment, but there's just not loads of options around where there's rain. So, yeah, beggars can't be choosers. He needs experience, and he may well run next weekend.
Yeah, we know your relationship with those in County Meath. The Royal County is quite strong, I suppose. The Bective Stud Silks, Castle Ivers and the Blue Room are two that will be wearing the Bective Silks this season. How are both of those coming along this season?
Yeah, good. Castle Ivers actually galloped yesterday for the first time. He's a horse who wants slow ground. I imagine we'll see him somewhere in kind of 2 or 3 weeks' time in a maiden hurdle, and hopefully he's a horse who could potentially progress into a graded novice hurdler. The Blue Room, lovely big kind of staying horse. Will start off in a soft ground bumper somewhere in a couple of weeks' time. Has had a racecourse gallop. Does everything nicely. He's a big staying horse in the making. Doesn't do anything too quickly, but he's a horse we do like, and he'd say he's got plenty of ability.
Yeah, we know you like I suppose the Irish point-to-point types. Piero Jacquin, if I've pronounced that correctly. An expensive purchase from the point-to-point field, owned by the Whateleys, I believe. How's he? He's exciting.
Yeah, he's good. He's actually owned by Robert Whaley Cohen. He's a horse who was bought in the Cheltenham Festival sale. He's actually got a gallop after racing at Fosslas on Sunday. Massive, great horse. Will definitely want soft ground, so he won't be seen now until there's proper soft ground around. He'll be kind of fit and ready to go now in a couple of weeks' time, depending on the weather. But nice big horse, point form worked out well, and one we're looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And weighed out. He's unbeaten, I suppose, in his career. And he looked impressive, didn't he, in his first start this season?
Yeah, he was good. Horse only does as much as he has to. He's got a couple of entries next week. He might just go to Wetherby next Saturday. There's a 30 grand introductory hurdle for horses that have only had one start at the hurdles. Will go on a bit of nicer ground. He's not the biggest, but he's tough, he's hardy, and I'd like to get one more run into him now before stepping into hopefully graded company. And yeah, I like him. He's a horse who pleases me with everything he does at home, and he's as tough as old boots.
I wish you well with him. And finally, I suppose, in the novice ranks, Junker Dallier. He looks a nice novice.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he didn't win a bumper last year. Didn't surprise me at all what he did on debut in Carlisle. Again, a horse who's ready to start out on his second start of the season. Would love to step him up in grade, but we're just, like I keep saying, we're short of rain over here. So as soon as we get a drop of rain, he'll be seen again. Wouldn't mind stepping him up in grade, and he's another horse hopefully to keep on the right side of.
Absolute, Ollie. Listen, wish you the best in the bumper at Newbury. I suppose, finally, for Champ.ie listeners, any other, I suppose, young, exciting horses that you're looking forward to seeing on the racecourse this season?
Yeah, we've a lot of nice young horses still to kind of come out and get started. A horse I'm looking forward to over fences, Butch, hasn't been seen as yet this season. Once soft ground, we'll start off in a novice chase now in the next couple of weeks. Maybe I'm trying to think of a dark horse. A horse called Western in the Park, won on debut for me a couple of weeks ago. Might go to Cheltenham a week Sunday for a novice handicap chase. I think he's still kind of feasibly handicapped. Obviously, Go Dante goes for the Great Wood. He's in good form. Had a prep run in the Welsh Champion Hurdle. He'll be piping ready now for a week Sunday. Bumper horses. I have a lovely half brother to John Bon and Duvan. He's unnamed at the moment. He's a Dr. Dino out of a mare called Starface. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. He's unnamed at the moment, owned by the Whateleys. And I have a nice horse in the bumper actually at Sandown on Sunday called Next Twist. By Muther here, does everything nicely at home, but will want soft ground. So yeah, plenty to look forward to. We have a real good team of horses now for the winter, and fingers.
You're going to challenge Dan Skelton, are you? Or Willie Mullins?
I say maybe not just yet, but that's that's the end target. But yeah, things are going good. Obviously, we're second in the trainers' title at the moment over here. I know things haven't kind of quite hotted up just yet, but as much as everyone else hasn't kind of been able to unleash their better types, neither have we. So yeah, we've an exciting team of horses, and fingers crossed there'll be a graded performer or two between the lot of them.
Yes, you're very welcome back. And don't forget out there, of course, to enter your 5 cast selections as well. And of course, more importantly, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so to the Champ.ie podcast. And those 5 races, once again, you'll see the details on screens. The 1:30 at Aintree, 2:05 Aintree, 2:40 at Aintree, the 2:23 Wincanton, and the 3:30 at Wincanton. We want your selections for the 5 cast and get those in the comment section below.
First draw, Dave, the monthly draw, just to let you know, the 28th of November. So if you're not in, you can't win. 2 winners or more qualifies you for the draw. There's the 5 cascaded selections down below, of course.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we've got looking ahead to this weekend. It's a good weekend. Gowran Park, our sponsor, of course, here on the show. Barry, we've a card at Gowran on Saturday, and it's a good national hunt card to look forward to.
The one, I suppose, that caught the eye for me was actually in the 12:27. It was Be Fierce, who I thought was a real good winner down at Tramore for Ted Walsh over hurdles when last seen. Interesting. Obviously, it goes chasing. Big strapping horse. I'd say it could go well. Shane O'Callaghan on board in that 12:27 at Gowran. That's Be Fierce for Ted Walsh. Was certainly of the entries at Gowran Park on Saturday, which is the Kilkenny GAA supporters day at Gowran Park on Saturday afternoon. I thought Be Fierce was one to maybe keep on side. But look, there's lots of good racing, of course. Dundalk on Friday. Shamrock Thoroughbreds will have runners, of course, once again. We'll be hearing from Stephen. And look forward as well, David, to a stable tour, which we will be publishing next week, as we mentioned. Had a fun day down there with Davy Boland this morning.
Yeah, excellent stuff. One I like on the card at Gowran on Saturday is in the 2:12. It's in the maiden hurdle. It's a horse by the name of Adragool. Gavin Cromwell, Keith Donoghue team up here with this one. Now, Adragool was second at Galway in the maiden hurdle last time, was beaten 6 lengths behind Sporting Glory. I thought it ran a really nice race, but its form line that I'm intrigued with is its second in a Listowel bumper. 5 lengths second behind Wind Beneath My Wings, trained by Pat Flynn, who's been since sold. And I think this looks a real winnable maiden hurdle on Saturday. And Adragool, I think, can take plenty of beating. Brian, over the rest of the weekend, is there anything else that stands out or you like this weekend?
Yeah, I thought Disco Dancer had a good chance in the 2:47 at Gowran on Saturday. Gordon's Yard are absolutely flying, with the exception of Jerry Cologne. But yeah, I thought her run at Downpatrick last time out, she came right back to form, and I think it's a very winnable race. And just over at Wincanton, the 1:45 on Saturday, I like the chances of Anthony Honeyball's horse, Good Luck Charm. She won the race last year. She's £8 higher this year, but Anthony's in absolutely scintillating form, and I think that one could have a bit of a chance at a price around 12-1.
Yes, it's a brilliant weekend of racing. We're heading right into the heart, aren't we, of the National Hunt season, and you're not going to miss a beat, because we're going to bring you all, hopefully, plenty of winners as the season goes on. We've Naps and Next Best coming up. That's right after these.
Boyle Sports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Right, it is coming to the time of the show where we have... it's the main point of the show for lots of people, because they want winners this weekend. And Brian O'Keefe, as our special guest this weekend, we're going to kick off with you. We're looking forward to hearing your nap and your best bets for this weekend.
Going to swoop in and take handstands off both of you, I have to say, over at Wincanton. I think that one has a big chance. I think he's going to go big places this season. In terms of next best, we'll go for the Boylesports Grand Sefton. I'm going to go for Percussion. I think it's going to be 3rd time lucky for that horse in the race. And just a reminder to all viewers as well, we are money back if you're second to the SP5 all across Aintree on Saturday. So again, do take advantage of that.
Yes, it's a fantastic offer. Of course, if you're having a bet and you're second to the favourite, get your money back in the form of a free bet. It's absolutely brilliant. It's handstands for me, so I think we're all going to be in agreement that this is the banker of the weekend. And Barry, you've got a couple for us as well this weekend, including handstands.
Well, I'm going to nap Imperial Saint, as I said. I just love the way he jumped over the course and distance at Aintree on his most recent start. And like them over Herds, I think he'll make a better chaser. There's more to come. The £4, I think he might defy the handicappers' rise. So I'm going to nap Imperial Saint this weekend, 9-4. I think that'll shorten for an inform Philip Hobbs team. And the other one to mention, Dundalk on Friday night, David, and it's Higher Kingdom. I think comes down to a very workable mark. I think he's rated 52 now for John McConnell. I've been keeping an eye on him for a while. Gary Carroll is booked. He's drawn in 3, racing over the mile. He really caught the eye in his last 2 starts, both on turf and on the all-weather. As I said, I think he could be very well treated. Higher Kingdom, the 8 o'clock at Dundalk. I think that's an each way selection for myself. And I'm really looking forward to seeing 40 coats in the 12:20 at Naas on Sunday if he's declared. One of the 10 to follow, David, for the season. Owned, of course, by Chris Jones. I think this is a very exciting novice. And just watch the way he's campaigned this year. He's entered up twice on Sunday, over 2 mile, I think, and 2 mile 2. Could he be one perhaps for a spring handicap? Maybe something like the Martin Pipe. He could have even more pace he could have the pace for 2 miles. So 40 coats. I think he'll be a nice novice and maybe one for a handicap in the spring. But I'd fancy him to get off the mark in the 12:20 if he's declared. It looks a very winnable race. So they'd be my 3 for the weekend, Dave. But anything for you? I suppose you've gone with handstands.
I've gone with handstands, and I think that Adragul is well in the 2:12 at Gowran on Saturday. I think might just be able to step forward from that run in the maiden hurdle like Galway last time out. But as I said, it's run at least stolen that bumper behind the Pat Flynn train runner. I think that's going to be good enough. It looks an ordinary maiden hurdle. I think it'll be hard to beat on Saturday. Brian, you're going to be football mad this weekend. Good luck to you. And to Drogheda, let's fingers crossed that you get the job done. Barry Doyle and myself will be stuck right into the action, and I'm sure we'll be keeping a close eye as well at Aintree and the course of the weekend action. Big thank you, as always, to all of you out there, our listeners. Without you, this show wouldn't go on, and we thank you every week for tuning in and sharing and subscribing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, Barry, they can do so, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, really helps. So give the old video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and tell everyone about EJ Menswear, Gowran Park on Saturday, and of course, Shamrock Thoroughbreds and Boylesports, our betting partner. So there you are, Dave, over and out, episode number 2. And by the way, just to let people know, the big reveal on Sunday afternoon. Who will be the guest on the Road to Cheltenham Challenge? It's starting on Monday. We're not going to say it now. Stay tuned, social media, 8 p.m. There we go. We'll announce it at 8 p.m. on Sunday night for a special guest.
Brian, you haven't betting on that, have you, by any chance? You can't give us an insight? You're not doing a bit of betting at Boylesports to see who the ambassador is going to be on the Road to Cheltenham show?
I might be accused of insider trading, David. Although Barry's kept tight lips, he'd give Frank Berry a run for his money.
The old wolf tones. What do they, every time they're announcing the show, all I see is 2 eyes put up on Twitter. 10 a.m. Wednesday. Stay tuned. Well, let's say 8 p.m. Dave on Sunday afternoon on Twitter. We'll announce who the new special guest is for the Road to Cheltenham Challenge. With 15 shows lined up, David, on that particular series, a selection every single week, and Boylesports will be enhancing our selections on a weekly basis. So really looking forward to it. That kicks off on Monday, but over and out, David, for episode number